Thanks for tuning in to Steel City Football, the 4-1-2. It's a great day to be a Pittsburgh Steeler. Let's jump right in. So sorry about that last broadcast. I had the settings set to kids can be involved in watching the show. And once you do that, it makes your video not eligible for monetization. So I had to go back and start the whole thing over again. My glasses are sideways. My camera's messed up. You know, it's just a typical life of a streamer that has no technical skills, I guess I could say. So, Mike, let's jump into Mike McCarthy. I love seeing this from Alex Highsmith, one of the stars on the Pittsburgh Steelers. He comes out today and he says that he's absolutely pumped that Mike McCarthy is the head coach of the Steelers. Let's jump into the article. Fluffy Nug YT, what up? Yeah, the chat is fixed. Sorry about that. I guess I had it set to the kids thing and then it's demonetized and I'm trying to pull it up on my phone and I can't see it. So that was the reason why I just ended the stream and had to start over again. This is what Alex Highsmith had to say about Mike McCarthy. I'm fired up. Steelers players excited after meeting Mike McCarthy. That's a good sign. I'll take it. I got to meet him yesterday. I got to talk to him a little bit. So I'm going to talk to him here again soon. But I'm really excited for it. He's a Pittsburgh guy. He's a Yinzer. So just the passion that he has for the city, for the organization, for the Steelers, I think is something that is really awesome. Highsmith said of McCarthy, according to video via the show's YouTube page. So I'm just excited to get to work with him. And so it's just to see what the future has planned, but I'm excited for it. It's definitely going to be different because all I've known since I've been in the league is Mike T. It's going to be different, but I'm excited for what's ahead. And so am I. I expect the Pittsburgh Steelers to be a much different team in 2026. I think Mike McCarthy is a better leader. I think he's more in tune to details, and I expect everybody across the board to be playing better football for the Steelers next season. Fluffy Nug YT says, yeah, Mike seems like a good fit. I agree with you. It's not that when I say these things, people just interpret it a lot like, oh, you don't like Coach Tomlin. I do like Coach Tomlin, but it wasn't working. And it always makes me think a lot of players want to play for Coach Tomlin. Let's just say hypothetical. I don't want to keep going back to this. Let's say hypothetically that Mike Tomlin, when things weren't working, he brought in different. I know he got an offensive coordinator, more, that's the one job on the Steelers coaching staff that seemed to change more often than all the other coordinators. But let's just say Mike Tomlin was being aggressive, trying to get the best coordinators to come in and coach the Steelers when things weren't going well. He might still be the coach of the Steelers. And I expect Mike McCarthy, when things aren't going well, you're going to see changes sooner than later. It's not going to be the same thing week in and week out. And that alone, makes the players feel optimistic about going into the 2026 season. So I'm happy to hear it. As a Pittsburgh fan, sometimes there's not a lot of positivity, even when we're winning. So anything positive, I'll take it. Mike McCarthy, he also was talking about his this is his philosophy for the Steelers organization. Draft, develop, retain. McCarthy's philosophy aligns well with Steelers history. I'm a big believer, and my career reflects that of draft, develop, and retain, McCarthy said Thursday in a one-on-one interview with Rob King, per video from the team's website. I think the second contract of your player shows is reflective of what your program is doing and how you're moving that along. When he said this, it makes me think about Broderick Jones. It makes me think about Peyton Wilson. It makes me think about the younger players on our roster. Even Beanie Bishop, even though he's no longer a Steeler. We all saw what happened to his career, which I thought it was a little odd what Mike Tomlin did to him. But, somebody like Broderick Jones, who you always feel like is on the bubble because he's not performing well. He was playing well before he got injured. Do I think McCarthy keeps these players around because he thinks he can coach them better? I'm not a person that always thinks that a player from another roster is automatically better. that we should always, just churn through the roster and get new guys. So I like this. I like drafting our player, sticking with a player, trying to develop him. I mean, eventually, if he can't develop, you're going to have to get rid of him, and you'll know when the time comes. But I like this philosophy. Positive Pokes had to say, I don't get the Raiders defense coordinator hype. They never did anything. I mean, yeah, it's kind of hard to disagree with you there. They were one of the worst teams in the league this year. The defense I hear is only had Max Crosby. Yeah. I mean, there's nothing that you're saying there that's not accurate. I mean, the Raiders coordinator was not very good. And the Raiders were, I shouldn't say that. The Raiders were not a very good team. I don't know about the coordinator. I have to do a little more research on that. Mike McCarthy is churning through the coaching roster pretty fast. Report Steelers hire Ramon Chin-Young as new running backs coach, replacing Eddie Faulkner. Positive Pokes, that's what they saying. This guy isn't excited. Yeah, I mean, I get it. Former Cowboys offensive line coach Ramon Chin-Young has joined the Pittsburgh Steelers as running backs coach under Mike McCarthy, per source. I mean, Mike McCarthy's obviously familiar with him, and Faulkner served as Pittsburgh's running back coach since 2019. He was a quality coach who developed Najee Harris, Jaylen Warren, and helped orchestrate Kenneth Gainwell's career season in 2025. It's unclear where he will end up. Perhaps he goes to Baltimore and works with new Ravens offensive line coach Dwayne Ledford. The two spent time together at NC State. That O-line coach got to go. Didn't they get rid of the O-line coach? I was about to read that next. I mean, Pat Meyer, I think they fired him today. Or are you talking about the new guy that they hired that you don't like? What was the source saying Rodgers is coming back I saw today? Well, the source was Mike McCarthy himself at a press conference saying that he wants him back. But I heard they gave Aaron Rodgers a deadline, letting them know, listen, you only have to this time to make up your mind. Robert Odie4579 says the last Steelers first round pick to even get a second contract was TJ Watt. You know what? I got to look that up, but I think you're right. The last Steelers first round pick. Okay. So do you think, let me ask you, do you think that that the Steelers retain Broderick Jones? I mean, is this his last year coming up, or it's either this year or next year is his last year? But do you think the Steelers try to work with him? Positive Poke says the fan was saying a source says he's coming back. The fan was saying. I mean, I keep thinking the same thing. I think he'll be back with McCarthy. I believe the same thing. And you know what? If Will Howard can't beat him out for the job and we can't get somebody in free agency, who do you want to be the quarterback then? I mean, I guess we're stuck with what we're stuck with. Steelers considering former All-Pro offensive lineman Jahari Evans for coaching position. I'm not going to get too much into that because it's just a consideration. Steelers make first signing of Mike McCarthy era, add wide receiver A.T. Perry to offseason roster. He's a bigger receiver with some good speed. The Pittsburgh Steelers have signed wide receiver A.T. Perry to the team's offseason roster. Perry has inked a reserve future contract, making him the first signing of the Mike McCarthy era. Good, because we need all the wide receivers we can get. Positive Poke says 93.7 The Fan claimed the source said that he's coming back. Sorry. Oh, no, that's what I figured. No, I got what you're saying. I think he's going to be back. I mean, Mike McCarthy even said he wants him back. So we know they talk behind the scenes. I don't think it's like a big secret. I do believe that Aaron Rodgers will be back, especially now that him and McCarthy kind of have an understanding similar to Coach Tomlin. I mean, it's not like Aaron Rodgers has to come in and play for a total stranger and, there might be some egos involved, now, especially in this stage of Aaron Rodgers' career. I think Mike McCarthy will probably let him, call his own shots for the most part. Positive Poke says at Perry didn't play all year, Broncos. Robert Rohde 4579. No for Broderick. They will not pick up his 5th-year option because they have to make that this spring, and his health is in question mark. Yeah, that's unfortunate. Did you think he was playing better before he got hurt? I thought he was playing somewhat better. I'm just thinking, will Mike McCarthy look at Broderick Jones and think to himself, he's that big, he's that fast, he's a first-round pick. Can I work with him to get him better? Can he make him better? Broderick will be on the team this year, but after this year, do you think he's on the team? Yes or no? Positive pokes. The last time they were together, McCarthy said Rodgers was calling low IQ plays. The last time they were together, McCarthy said Rodgers was calling low IQ plays at the line. That's funny. I thought it was the other way around when I heard that. I thought Rodgers was saying that about McCarthy. So McCarthy was saying that about Rodgers. That's pretty funny. Let's look at this A.T. Perry receiver. New Steelers wide receiver A.T. Perry had 4 touchdown receptions during his 2023 rookie season with the Saints. Weighing in at 6'3.5", 198 pounds at the 2023 NFL Combine, Perry ran a strong 4.47 40-yard dash. He leaped 35 inches in the vert and 11.1 in the broad. And at his pro day, he showed well in agility drills with a 4.32 short shuttle and 6.8 on 3-cone. Well, he's much bigger than the receivers that we have now for the most part. Yeah, what do you think about Broderick Jones' future? You think after this year it's over? At Perry didn't play this year, but he's young. Yeah, that's true. He is young. He's young and tall and long. So Calvin Austin III, they need somebody to push the receiving core. It's like our biggest weak link in the entire offense. Our offensive line played decently. Our running backs played decently. The tight end position, Jono Smith didn't play well at all, but I think Pat Freiermuth will rebound under Mike McCarthy. And wide receiver was the biggest letdown for the Steelers last year. So bring them all in. If you want to sign 100 of them, 50 receivers, obviously we need help there. He was on the Broncos and they had lots of injuries, didn't play. Yeah. I get it, but Steelers aren't very deep at receiver. Pittsburgh Steelers coaching staff tracker. Let's see what's going on here. Offensive staff, offensive coordinator open. Candidates, Cowboys tight end coach Lunda Wells. Saints quarterbacks coach Scott Tolzien. Tolzien also helped develop that quarterback down in New Orleans. I can't remember his name. I kind of like him. Quarterbacks coach Tom Arth. Running backs coach Ramon Chinyoung. Wide receivers coach Adam Henry. Tight ends coach Open. Offensive line coach James Campen is the new coach. Assistant offensive line coach Open. Candidates Saints assistant offensive lineman coach Jahari Evans. Yeah, Sean Payton is a clown. Bo Nix just called out Payton for saying Nix had multiple ankle problem surgeries. What's up, Project PA? How are you, brother? Haven't talked to you in a while. Good. I'm glad that you're here. Defensive staff for the Steelers. Defensive coordinator Patrick Graham. Defensive line coach Open. Linebackers coach Scott McCurley. Secondary coach Gerald Alexander. Defensive assistant Jason Simmons. The other day, one of the listeners said that Al Harris was being considered for the secondary or the defensive coordinator. Remember the corner on the Packers? Really good player for a long time. I was hoping the Steelers would bring him in to help develop Joey Porter and make him better. I mean, Joey Porter was playing pretty good at the end of the year last year. I think Adam Henry was a wide receiver. Let me check that out. Wide receiver, probably. If Rodgers comes back, they will sign her. Well, I'm hoping that the Steelers' first-round pick is a receiver. I'm hoping they get Mekhi Lemon out of USC. I think his first name's Mekhi. Let me look it up right now. I mean, every article that I read has the Steelers connected to the USC receiver. Let me check it out. Let me find it. Yep, here we go. Excuse me. Analyst Steelers should target USC wide receiver Mekhi Lemon in first round. Ideal complement to DK Metcalf. I follow the Trojans, and he is an excellent receiver. I don't know how big he is. He looks like he's like right on the 6 foot mark. About 200 pounds. Let's see what they have to say. While there is lingering uncertainty about the Steelers' quarterback room, the front office must address the wide receiver corps in 2026. Smith wrote, Pittsburgh's roster lacks any true consistent threat in the passing game. Mekhi Lemon is an ideal complement to Metcalf as someone who wins quickly with separation. Over the past 2 seasons, his 81.1 open target rate ranks in the 87th percentile at his position. Lemon led the FBS and PFF receiving grade with 91.4 this season and showed elite hands, dropping just 2 passes on 108 targets. Lemon is an exciting receiver. He's not exceptionally explosive, but he may be the best route runner in the entire class. That allowed him to get open consistently against Big Ten defenses last year. He also had a variety of moves that can sell routes. Lemon has reliable hands, is fearless over the middle of the field, and makes things happen after the catch. Mekhi Lemon struggles against press man corner sometimes, and a smaller wingspan doesn't give him a large catch radius. He'll have to find a way around those things at the NFL level. Our Jim Hester took a deeper dive into his game here. Let's see what's going on in the chats. Positive pokes. The last wide receiver. Oh, yeah. Roman Wilson has been a complete disaster. If we have the 21st pick, that's Matthew Golden Range, and he did nothing last year for the Packers. I'm surprised at that. I thought he was going to be an absolute stud. His game tape coming out of college, Matthew Golden, was incredible. I mean, I thought he looked fantastic but the NFL is the NFL. It's a totally different ball game when you get up there, but sometimes it takes receivers a little bit more to get going. But yeah, I thought for sure I had Matthew Golden pegged as like one of the top players in the draft last year. Let's listen to what Colin Cowherd has to say. For once, he's kind of making sense in his life. Not every hire is Sean McVay. Cowherd understands the Steelers' B-plus decision to bring in Mike McCarthy. Roberto, is that Roberto? Roberto Hyde 4579 says, maybe McCarthy will be a big help in drafting wide receivers. Green Bay drafted lots of good wide receivers and did it outside of the first round. What's up, Fluffy Nug? How are you? Positive pokes. Rodgers will bring in a real wide receiver if he comes back. He's not letting that happen again. I don't know. If you're like a top-notch wide receiver, do you even want to play for Aaron Rodgers at this point? I mean, with all his cursing on the field and flipping out, and it just doesn't seem like he has the same arm strength. Like, if you're a top-notch receiver, wouldn't you rather play for like Josh Allen I know it's cold in Pittsburgh, but it's cold in Buffalo. Do you really think the top-notch guys want to play for Aaron Rodgers? This offense will be better than Arthur. Yeah, I agree. I really do expect the offense to be much better in 2026. Much better. Let me see what Cowherd had to say. Not every hire is Sean McVay. Not every movie is Goodfellas. My takeaway defending the Steelers was, well, if you're not going to get John Harbaugh and Kevin Stefanski, he was with the Browns. He's not for you. Could it not be argued McCarthy is a B? You're not taking a risk. Cowherd said Wednesday on his podcast, when it comes in a little flat, maybe soda's a little flat. I'm like the club soda in the gun. It's not bubbly enough for me, and I kind of feel like it's actually probably a B-plus higher, and I'm being too hard on it. Whatever, Cowherd, shut up. For all the coaches that were on the market, McCarthy was the right pick. Positive Poke says, oh, Robert Rohde. Okay. Sorry about that. That's Robert Rohde. Positive Pokes. If you're trying to get money and you're going to be a number 2, you should feast and want to come here. I mean, yeah, you should feast because DK Metcalf gets a lot of attention. So if you're a legitimate 2, you should have a good year. I mean, it's kind of hard too when I really think about it. Aaron Rodgers pretty much only had one person to throw to the entire year. That was DK Metcalf. We missed him for 2 games. Then you have Coach Tomlin, who never throws the ball over the middle of the field. You think about it. If the Steelers in their playoff game tried to throw the ball over the middle of the field, they might have won the game instead of getting absolutely demolished. I mean, once the Bills made the adjustment, it was just like, what am I saying? I can't even remember who we played in the playoffs. Once they made the adjustment, they got absolutely smoked. You know, it just seemed like once, as soon as it happened, the Steelers were getting bombed. Why can't I remember who we played in the playoffs? Like, am I traumatized that much from the loss? What the hell is going on with me? Yeah, it was bad. So, but I do expect things to be a lot better. You know, Aaron Rodgers, he wasn't able to throw the ball over the middle of the field. He didn't have a legitimate number 2 receiver. The tight ends were, every pass was behind the line of scrimmage. They said McCarthy runs West Coast, should be lots of mismatches, but I don't know if they will figure out with our wide receiver room, though. Yeah, he was saying that the other day, McCarthy, that the receivers need to learn all the positions on the field to create mismatches. We know that wasn't going on with Tomlin. Let's be serious. Let's see what Maxx Crosby has to say about Will Howard. He's a hell of a player, Raiders pass rusher. Maxx Crosby is a Will Howard believer. I think Aaron Rodgers probably stays another year, Crosby said recently on his podcast. But when you have a guy like Will Howard to sit there and learn another year behind Rodgers, and you have Mike McCarthy locked in for 5 years, you let Rodgers get another year, and then you have Will Howard step in after that, sitting for 2 years, and then letting him go and be the guy. Because I know some people have their opinions on Will Howard and this and that. I'm a Will Howard believer. I'm not going to lie. I think he's a hell of a player. I think Will Howard's got the size. He's got the intangibles. He's talented. He's a smart quarterback. I think Will Howard sitting there learning behind McCarthy and Aaron Rodgers for another year is going to do that franchise a lot of great things. And I hope that he's right. I mean, everywhere that Will Howard went, when he was at Kansas State, when he was at Ohio State, all he did was win and elevate the team. So, and John Gruden absolutely loved him. He is as big as Josh Allen. I would have loved to see him in the preseason last year. Obviously, it didn't happen. Report: Commanders assistant Jason Simmons expected to join Steelers staff in prominent defensive role. Washington assistant Jason Simmons, who interviewed for the Steelers' DC job, is expected to join the staff in a prominent defensive role, per sources. This would be a reunion for Simmons, Patrick Graham, and Mike McCarthy from Green Bay. Hopefully, all these coaches that he's assembling, McCarthy, is from the year that the Packers won the Super Bowl. Positive Pokes: who was the last Ohio State quarterback to do anything? Justin Fields does not count. Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, they pretty much have all been busts in the NFL. Like when they won the national championship, I mean, they've been winning a couple of times. This is going back a couple of years ago. I can't remember his name, but you're right. I don't. When's the last time we seen an Ohio State quarterback that was like Peyton Manning or Eli Manning or, you know, a Phillip Rivers or a top-notch quarterback? You don't. And they play on such good teams. They got all these offensive linemen that are going to the NFL, wide receivers, running backs, defensive, so they can kind of mask, you know, the quarterback play without having to get top-notch talent. Good question. I can't even recall. I mean, yeah. I mean, I don't think Justin Fields has really done any. He's been a super disappointing. He's had a super disappointing career in the NFL so far. And when he was playing good, when he finally was playing well, what did Mike Tomlin do to Justin Fields? Oh, you're on the bench. We're putting in Russell Wilson. Yeah, that's true. Plus, the wide receivers at Ohio State are so good they lift. Yeah, I agree. Project PA says McCarthy is the right pick, but he needs to definitely lose weight. He's by far the heaviest coach of the year. He's like, I mean, he's such a nice guy. He looks like a big teddy bear that needs a hug, but he definitely needs to lose some weight. That's funny. Yeah, that's pretty funny. Yeah, that is funny. I mean, he seems like a super nice guy. I don't know, but you're right. He is a big dude. He looks like he's pushing like 365. That wide receiver from Ohio State. He'll be a top 5 pick though. He'll be gone before the Steelers pick. Isaac Harvison F5L says, I don't want Rodgers back. They need to draft wide receivers, and then there are 2 guys I like and few guys in the offensive line. Arch Manning in 2027. I don't know if I'm not sure about Arch Man. I think Arch Manning got a bad rap this year. You figure his first collegiate start was against Ohio State. Ohio State is loaded with NFL talent. They lose the game by like 4 points, and all you ever heard was, "Oh, Arch Manning sucks and his career is over." I don't know. I don't know. I think the it's still out there about Arch Manning. I don't know if you could say that he's a bust, but remember his first college collegiate start, it was against Ohio State this year, and they lost by what, 4-6? I don't remember. Roberto, yeah, I don't know why I keep saying your name wrong. Robert Hody. After Fincher, Cannon, Smith, the Steelers offense will be like going from black and white TV to color today. We're going to score a lot more points. Yeah, we're finally going to come into like the 20th century with Mike McCarthy being the Steelers head coach. We were stuck in 1987. The offense, the offense that we were in, there wasn't even cable TV out yet. But hey, we should all be worshiping. Tomlin was doing everybody a favor by being the coach of the Steelers, according to ESPN. How dare you boo Tomlin? You didn't know that? You're not allowed to boo Tomlin? That's the rules from ESPN. You're not allowed to do that. Former Packers executive Mike McCarthy was instrumental in Aaron Rodgers' development. Let's jump into this. Whether he brings in Aaron or not, I don't know. Brandt said Thursday on his Business of Sports podcast. People can say that won't get them very far. What will get them far? You name a quarterback that's going to get them far. Someone they're going to draft in the late to middle of the first round, or someone they're going to trade for, or they're going to break the bank for Daniel Jones. Aaron's fine. Aaron's not Aaron that we knew in Green Bay, but Aaron's good. Top 12 quarterback, top 10. Why wouldn't McCarthy want Aaron Rodgers, who he worked with, who he developed back when Brett Favre was our quarterback? Mike was instrumental in Aaron's development as a young player. If Aaron's going to play, that's where he's going to play. I don't think there's any other option. I have a feeling he's going to be back. Oh yeah, positive folks. CJ Stroud. I don't know why I always think he played at Texas. Well, this year CJ Stroud completely shit the bed. Here we go. Sports says with Tomlin, it felt like the movie 1984. More like it. Exactly. Mike Tomlin was Groundhog Day. I agree, man. It was sometimes just like you lose a game or you win a game, and you're like, oh, here we go again. 4 or 5 more days to we do the same thing again. You let Howard learn from the old man one more year. I agree, positive, folks. I mean, I think even Aaron Rodgers sat behind Brett Favre for 2 years. The quarterbacks that sit, even Patrick Mahomes sat for a little while. It's not a bad thing when they sit. So I'm with you. Doesn't hurt Will Howard's development at all to sit for the first 2 years and learn from Aaron Rodgers. I think it's a good thing. And again, when you see the free agents on the market, if none of them, Aaron Rodgers is still in the top 10, top 12 quarterback in the NFL. Positive folks, the chance of drafting Patty Mahomes or Brady Rodgers late, yeah, I agree. I mean, it's like hitting the Powerball twice in a month. I was thinking for some reason the other day, Patrick Mahomes was a third round pick. I must have been confusing him with Dak. I didn't know that he went in the first round. I thought he fell out of the draft. Robert Hode 4579. Arch was one of the best quarterbacks in all of college football. The last month of the season, he got better. I agree with you. I agree with you there with Arch Manning. Yeah, he again, his first college collegiate start ever was against Ohio State. Would they lose by 6? Ohio State is loaded with NFL talent. So I'm with you. Let's see what else is going on. Bills are hiring former Steelers offensive line coach Pat Meyer. Yeah, good luck with that. Positive post. Tyler Shaw looked okay, but was in college for 10 years. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's true. These guys now, it's like they stay in college for 7, 8 years. It's ridiculous. Let's see what Cam Newton had to say. He can never leave the Steelers' name out of his mouth. Cam Newton, what do we expect here? Cam Newton criticized Steelers for not hiring first-time head coach. Cam, when you stop dressing like your grandmother, maybe I could take you serious. What I'm having a hard time accepting is you see guys like John Harbaugh go from one franchise to another franchise. Guys like Mike McCarthy go from one franchise, sit out, go to another franchise. Newton said recently on his 4th and 1 podcast, what do we expect here? Did they go to the Super Bowl? I get it. I ain't mad. They was at other places. What do you think they're going to do over here? Then it's like Pittsburgh. Not saying that they're not a good culture. They're not worthy. Can we get a little change at a deck? Can we get some new coaches with new opportunities? What? Just Cam, shut up. You know what? It's just I shouldn't even read what he's saying. Positive pokes. None of the quarterbacks last year really did anything. When you talk about the quarterbacks, which ones are you talking about? College or are you talking about the Steelers? Who are you talking about? I like the Samoan kid from USC, and I like the kid. I had a dream. I'm going full Candace Owens on everybody. I had a dream that the Nebraska quarterback that looks like Patrick Mahomes that's going to Oregon. I had a dream that the Steelers drafted him in 2027, and it worked out very well. What's his name again? The quarterback. I know I asked you this the other day. From the draft. Yeah, I'm not really crazy about this year's draft with quarterbacks either. What's that quarterback that played at Nebraska? His dad was an offensive lineman in the NFL for years. Now he's leaving Nebraska. He's going to Oregon this year. You told me his name the other day. I don't know why it always slips my mind, his name. Hold on, let me look it up. It can. Exactly. I'm going full Candace Owens. I had a dream that the Steelers drafted a quarterback. Nebraska QB. Oh, Dylan Raiola. I had a dream that the Steelers drafted Dylan Raiola, and it worked out very well. I had this dream like 2 weeks ago. So, do I think it's going to happen? It's a possibility. Kansas City trade up to the 9th pick to get Mahomes, who was very raw and played a reckless style with all sorts of risky throws. Many scouts had doubts about Mahomes. Robert Hode 4579 says, "Wow, I thought I didn't know he was a first round pick. That's my bad." Isaac Harvison, Dante Moore. Dante Moore is from where? Didn't he play at Oregon? Dante Moore. I don't know. I like Rayola. I like the Samoan kid from USC. They're not coming out in this year's draft, so I want the Steelers. The draft is in Pittsburgh. I want to see them come out and draft a wide receiver, a top-notch wide receiver, an absolute stud. That's what I want to see. I don't want to see them reach for a quarterback if he's not there. Let's see what else is going on. Give me a minute. And I think Mike McCarthy in Pittsburgh is a much better fit for his personality. And I don't think Mike McCarthy, like working for Jerry Jones is not easy. And Jerry Jones has even admitted this out of his own mouth, like that football is not the first thing on his mind all the time. That's more about Jerry world and business. And I think Mike McCarthy is a much better fit in Pittsburgh because all I keep hearing is, well, McCarthy, he didn't have a good time in Dallas, and Dallas didn't work out for him. Why did the Steelers, give him the job? But I don't think it's easy to work for Jerry. I mean, look what Jerry Jones did to Jimmy Johnson. We might trade up for something. Yeah, I hope we trade up to get that the wide receiver from Ohio State. I mean, if you're going to trade up in the first round, it better be like a slam dunk. What's his last Smith? I don't remember his first name, but his last name is Smith. He'll give his heart and soul to the team. Mike McCarthy's former boss details why he'll succeed with the Steelers. Yeah, he saw 1-3 playoffs is sketch, though. I agree. During an interview with Steelers Depot earlier this week, McLaughlin dished on why he believes McCarthy will have success leading his hometown Steelers. I got to know him before I went to San Fran, and we hired him as the OC. John Schneider, who's the GM with the Seahawks, they were together in Kansas City, and they were close. So I got to know him a little bit then. And then when me and Mike Nolan got to San Fran in 2005, we had to hire an offensive coordinator, of course. So I recommended Mike for that. McLaughlin said, we drafted Alex Smith #1 overall, and things were going in the right direction. And then all of a sudden, a good friend, Ted Thompson, was looking for a head coach. I just told Ted, listen, he's a smart guy. He's a really good guy. He's a player's coach, but he can also be the nasty guy if you need the tough guy. He's from Pittsburgh and all that. And he tell me stories all the time about it. But I just told Ted because Ted's all about honesty, good people. And Mike was at that time a really good offensive coordinator, really good. I didn't know if he'd get the job or not, but Ted listened to me and Ted hired him. He's just one of those guys that you're around that you just trust as the head coach. That's a good feeling to have as a general manager. As far as how he is as a person, McLaughlin said that McCarthy isn't going to give any BS. He's not going to try to protect himself. He's going to tell you exactly what's going on, and he don't mind calling you out either, which I totally respect. McLaughlin compared McCarthy to longtime Packers and Seahawks head coach Mike Holmgren in terms of personality and as coaches who can impose their will, but understand the importance of being good people. He also detailed some of what goes on at McCarthy's quarterback camps, which both Aaron Rodgers and Tom Arth have credited to aiding their development, and for Arth, his coaching style. He's really good. He does this. It's called a quarterback camp or quarterback school. But he has them do like balls between their legs. I remember when we went down to Salt Lake City, it was me, Nolan, and McCarthy to work at Alex Smith. And he had him doing drills because I'm used to pro days, the 40, the vertical, and the short shuttle, all that stuff. And he's doing stuff like we're not even throwing the ball. Excuse me. McLaughlin said McCarthy learned a lot about quarterbacks from Paul Hackett, something McCarthy also talked about in his Tuesday press conference. He also said that McCarthy is a teacher at heart. Here we go again. And I'm not going to keep going back on this because you're like, man, you're being a dead horse. But in 19 years, Coach Tomlin couldn't draft a quarterback, couldn't develop one, and he definitely couldn't coach one. So when you see all these GMs around the league talking about, how McCarthy develops quarterbacks and he has a school and like there's a history of this. It's not like 1, 2, 3 years. This is going back like 20, 30 years ago. So when you see all these people online criticizing Mike McCarthy as the hire, what's the #1 position right now that the Steelers need more than anything? It's a quarterback. Like this decision makes perfect sense. Mike McCarthy is it's like 20 to 30 years of developing quarterbacks. So I just don't get what everybody's so mad about. Isaac Harvson, F5L. Dallas was dumpster fire until McCarthy came in. He's underrated. He did with 2 football teams. Exactly. He turns it around very fast. Positive Pokes, good chat. Goodbye. See you down. I'll see you soon, Positive Pokes. Robert Hody says Jerry is the GM and makes all the personal. Jerry's just unbearable. He really is. It's not easy to work for Jerry Jones. You're trying to do one thing, he's trying to do another. Players do it all the time in Dallas. If they don't like what a coach does, they go knock on Jerry's door and Jerry overrides everything. So I don't think McCarthy really got a fair shake in Dallas, if you ask me. Especially like the way he's criticized for their performance or how it ended. As far as McCarthy returning to Pittsburgh, McLaughlin said coaching the Steelers means more to him due to his roots, and that he'll do everything possible to make them a winning organization. He'll fit right in. He's a Pittsburgh guy and he's proud of it. And he'll do anything in his power to make sure they're successful, he said. I don't know how much longer he wants to coach, but he'll put in every effort to make sure it's done right because he's very prideful. He's won, but the thing about it is with Pittsburgh, it's more important to him just from the standpoint of that's where he's from. That's where his family's from. It's very important to him to be successful, especially in Pittsburgh. Green Bay was the same way. Dallas was the same way. But for him to be in Pittsburgh, I guarantee he'll give his heart and soul to that team. Well, I'm going to end it with that. That's exactly what I want to hear. And I'm glad that a lot of people are noticing this. GMs, this is coming from a lot of GMs and ex-coaches around the league. And once again, there's a track record here with Mike McCarthy. It's 20 to 30 years of developing quarterbacks and making them play at a very high level, whether he was the coach of their team or they were going to his quarterback camp and bringing out the best of him. And you also have offensive coordinators around the league saying, Mike McCarthy made me a better coach and made me understand offenses and defenses better. So, the proof is in the pudding. Robert Hode says, 4 of McCarthy's offenses still rank in the top 10 all-time in Saints franchise history. He did that with the season of Jeff Blake and Aaron Brooks at quarterback. 3 with Brooks at that's an excellent stat. I gotta look that up when I get off of here, and I gotta write that down. And the next show I do, I'm gonna start it with that. So thank you for that information. 4 of McCarthy's offenses still rank in the top 10 all time in Saints franchise history. He did that with the season of Jeff Blake and Aaron Brooks, who were decent quarterbacks. They were like, I give them like C grades. And 3 seasons with Brooks at quarterback. Okay, so with a season of Jeff Blake and Aaron Brooks at quarterback for 3 seasons. Hey, I mean, he's developing. If he can develop those types of players who don't have national championships on their resume, like Will Howard, I think he could definitely do a lot with Will Howard. Will Howard has the right mind. He's got the right attitude. He's willing to study. He's willing to put the time in. A lot of these quarterbacks nowadays in the NFL, they want to be social media guys. They want to be podcasters. They want to be this. They want to be that. You got Shedeur Sanders going to fashion shows and walking the runway. Meanwhile, he hasn't done anything in the NFL yet. Will Howard, if you're going to take the time to teach a guy and to mold a guy and to develop a guy, Will Howard is definitely if you're a teacher, Will Howard is definitely a student that you don't mind, putting all that work in for, because at least even if it goes wrong, he's going to give you everything that he has, and it's not going to be some outside distraction. All right, guys, I'm going to end it with that. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate everybody. I can't get on a steady schedule yet when I'm going to film. I got some issues going on behind the scenes, but pretty soon I'm going to let you know. Monday through Friday, the show will be at this time. I just can't narrow it down right now. I got something going on, but eventually I will. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. And with that being said, thanks for tuning in to Steel City Football, the 4-1-2.